Hey guys, it's Snakeboy Man here with my review of Wonder Woman 1984, the newest line of the DC EU movies, directed by Patty Jenkins, starring Gal Gadot. Now, this movie is getting a lot of flack lately, and I'm not sure why. It's a fun, exciting movie to go see at the cinema or stream on HBO Max. Personally, I loved it. Now, I've been hearing a lot of criticism that there's not enough action, it's a little campy, there's too many tongue-in-cheek references. I'm like, yeah, it's meant to be a fun movie. It's not going to be a dark, gritty, action seeking movie because it's Wonder Woman. It's not Batman. It's not, one of those anti hero movies. Now, to start out, there's a flashback to Themyscira, and you're seeing the Queen and the Ant and all those fun characters again. Granted, this flashback, it's cool to see. It's a great spectacle, a lot of great set pieces with this contest, but it's feels like it's misplaced. Like they don't know where to put it, so let's put it in the beginning of the movie. That being said, then you get your first true action sequence during this mall sequence, and everyone's complaining about that. It's too cheesy. It's you can almost see the wire work and the colors are all over the place. It's really vibrant, and the camera angles are kind of wonky. I'm like, yeah, I knew exactly what they were going for. Patty Jenkins directed it with all those in there on purpose because it's meant to be like an 80s cheesy action scene because the movie takes place in 1984. And I loved it. It's totally fitting. Like, you can watch a lot of cheesy action movies from the 80s and you're like, but that's what they were going for. So I personally love that sequence. Then later on in the movie, yes, there's a couple more action scenes. One with this in the desert with this caravan of security officers for Maxwell Lord, and I would say that's the best one, just because it's acted well. It's doing something I love. Finally, in comic movies, they're doing a lot more of, is they are showing, not telling. So you're seeing the bullets grazing her skin, and she's getting weaker because of the wish of the greed that she wants Steve Trevor back. So the wish is pulling from her abilities. And then, yes, the final fight at the end with Cheetah. I'll agree. The studio was not that truly faithful with the CGI, that's why it's at night, like YouTuber Jeremy Johns has said. I agree with that point. But the fact that you're seeing Cheetah claw off the armor and it's from the POV inside of the armor, that was amazing. That was cool. Now, going back to the characters, I would say Gal Gadot once again is better in every movie I've seen her in, and she is nailing this character. She knows she's a superheroine that has all these amazing abilities, but she's still true to character, having this almost motherly vibe that Wonder Woman is supposed to portray. She's always trying to believe in the best of people and save humanity as a whole. She's not just this needy, tough, gritty kind of heroine that we don't see like maybe in Mad Max Furiosa. Completely different character. So I'm glad that they're still getting it. I'm glad they're still sticking true to character. I would say the weakest moments come from Chris Pine. Not that he's a bad actor. It's because the movie doesn't know what to do with him. It's we want him back. We want Wonder Woman happy and seeing him. So yes, it's during the greed of a wish. Um, and there's that fun little sequence with him trying on clothes. But the fact that it's going parallel to the first movie where she's a woman out of time and he's teaching her all about the world in 1917 during World War One, and now it's this parallel but opposite where she's teaching him all the new technological advances that we've made in the 80s with going to space, having these fighter jets that are just amazing. And the fact that they have such great chemistry together, Gal Gadot and Chris Pine, is truly believable. It's great sequences. It's the fact that you're seeing him with this like whole look of like awe, or as YouTuber Grace Randolph, she did a tongue-in-cheek thing like wonder, pun intended. Like yes, I agree with her on that aspect. So yes, he's the weakest character in the movie, but it's not acted weak. It's he's still pulling off this charisma that he's a pilot. The fact that he doesn't get this world. The fact that he's just so happy to see Diana again. And then I would say Cheetah, played by Kristen Wiig, is just a weak character. But it might be personal bias because in everything I've seen, whether it's comic books, cartoon shows, TV shows, now a movie, I've never cared for the character of Cheetah. I'll just be honest. So maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I would say the best scene stealer for a new character that's only in this movie, I would say, is Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord. Granted, they changed him a little bit. If you read the comics, I'm glad they went with him before he was like a metahuman and gets mind control powers, where he's essentially like evil Professor X. I'm glad they went with just the corrupt, greedy businessman. That's what I'm more akin to, more used to, and wanted to see. But I also wanted him to see him as a big mental manipulator about corruption and even the greed of people. So yes, they're bringing those themes to the forefront with this Dreamstone that he is embodying because he wished to be the Dreamstone. Spoilers in all this if you haven't seen it. Sorry. So I thought he was great in the movie. I liked his ambition, the look that you can see from his humanity, that he isn't just this evil person, he wants things better for himself, and all this greed has a price. And the fact that humanity at themselves, especially during the 80s, oh my god, we were so greedy. It was all about wanting more, like all his really bad infomercials in the movie. It's all about me, me, me. So it's tonally fitting. It's a great message, I think, that we need to see the truth in people and believe more in humanity. So that's why I thought this movie is great. Now, I would say that I thought was really interesting is finally in one of these comic book movies, yes, they're no longer shot in film. They're not going to look as good as they did back in the day. They're all shot on digital. But this team, maybe it's because in the 80s, they finally increased the color grading. I'm like, yay! It looks so much more vibrant, and I loved it. It's pleasure for the eyes. And also, yes, there's a couple more Easter eggs, like the invisible jet, which I personally have never liked. I know it's an Easter egg for the old school Wonder Woman fans, because that's what they used to have her fly in. I always liked it when she could just fly straight out. There was no need for a jet. But that sequence where they're in the invisible jet and Gal Gadot and Chris Pine are flying through the fireworks, that was truly amazing. That's a great scene in that whole movie. Like, can you imagine like being on that jet and just want to see all the fireworks up close? That'd be fucking cool. And then I was gonna say, when she's finally learning to fly, yes, she's angry. She had to resent her wish and send Steve Trevor back. And you see still first lassoing on the lightning. Yes, it's thematic. It's showing that she's angry about having to give him up and she's hurt. But I like the fact she's using her whole body, kind of stumbling, and she's learning to fly that way. Because so often, all you ever see is someone on a green screen on their stomach flat on a board. I'm like, that's just boring. So she's actually, with all the wire work and all her limbs almost like juggling around, she's trying to get her, like, a fish out of water almost. To me, that's actually how someone would try flying, like straight up if they could. And I liked how the music and the ambiance and even the camera angles were almost like the Christopher Reeve movies when he's flying. Like, okay, I like that reference. I like how they're going back to that. But yeah, so the fact this movie has heart, has a message about believing in the truth and humanity as a whole, and we need to stop being so greedy. I loved it, so I don't know why it's getting so much hate. I thought it was a great movie. I am so glad I went to go see it in IMAX. It was worth every penny. The vibrancy, the characterization, I thought it was just on. It was great. So for me, it's a day one buy. I'm gonna buy it on 4K, and I'm gonna watch it more and more. But yes, I'll agree with certain people who just have something to say about the movies. That yes, I would like to have more action because it's a comic book movie, but if you can do the characters right, if you can do a good message, if you can have everything fit thematically with one storyline instead of multiple that don't make sense and go anywhere, I would rather have it like this movie presented. So to me, I think it's great. It's worth, like I said, IMAX price. It to me was, I would say it's an 8 out of 10. I don't understand all the hate. And people are really complaining about the mall sequence. It's vibrant and colorful and cheesy on purpose, like an 80s movie. So I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. Well, comment, like, subscribe, whatever you guys feel like doing. If you dislike the movie, I understand. We're all different. Everyone has their own opinion. I just don't see why it's so hated. But, to each their own. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review, and thanks for watching.